It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me is my co-host Yells. Good morning on this fantastic Friday. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, man. I'm doing good. A little losing my
Good.
voice a little bit, but I'm doing good, man.
Hey, that's all right, man. That's all right. Look, it's good to be here with you on Friday. We got some
Touche.
game recaps to go through from the night that was. It was a
Ooh.
really fun night last night of games in SimWorld, and let's jump right into it, shall we? First up, we're gonna talk about the very first game of the day between the Bay Area Breakers and the
Mm.
OGs, and this one was a fun one all throughout. Really, you expected to see a lot of Cooper Flag, and we see him here getting a one-handed jam there, and best game was a back and forth affair all throughout. Really, Trey Hyman, Cooper Flag went at each other throughout, and here's some defense from Trey Hyman getting the block on the defensive end here in the third quarter. Cooper Flag going to work here, trying to get his team back into the game, and there's a good start for him.
Yeah,
The jam calls and a timeout as a result. But here down the stretch, 5-point game. 5-point game. OG's trying to pull up a little closer, and Kamari Ward does that there, getting it to within two. The final moments of the game, Trey Hyman sealing the deal there with that dunk. And that puts the rest of the game away as the Bay Area Breakers knock off the OGs from the lands of the undefeateds by a final score of 75-68.
Yeah. Great game, B-Ron. Great game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bay Area came out and they really just took it to the OGs right from the outset. Like they outran them, they defended, their intensity, they were locked in, and they had something to prove in this game. And it was clear right from the outset of the game. Game was competitive in the first quarter, and then Bay Area just ran away. 23-10 was the output in the second quarter. Trey Hyman came out 22 big points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 11 for 16 from the field. Just one turnover. What more do you want from me? Right, he did it. He did it all in this game, B-Ron. And Adonis Knight, you had other guys stepping up. On the other side, Cooper Flag, 36 points. But where was the rest of the production? I think that's the question mark everyone's going to be asking.
Yeah.
They rallied back, and they rallied back on the back of Cooper Flag. Kamari Ward hit some big shots, but didn't this team bring in Jay Laster? Didn't they bring him in as a major signing? Didn't they nab Justin Hair Canada, Justin Shooter McGavin from the North? Didn't they bring him in?
They did.
Yeah. Kamari Ward
they still have Kamari Ward, Victor Oselgauskas as well. So you gotta think at some point production has to come from someone else besides Cooper Flag, and that's the big question. As the season has started here, their start has been great, yeah, but who else is gonna produce besides Cooper Flag? I mean, we'll definitely touch more on that later. No.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, I want to say this game, it was an incredible game. Thought it was going to be another one of those SimWorld Prep Classics on the comeback, and it was. It was a very good game, but it was more so. Do you think this was a statement game for Bay Area? If you had to lean one direction, more of a statement game for Bay Area, or was it more of just a loss that happens for the originators?
If I had to lean one way or the other, I would say it's just a loss that happened to the OGs. I didn't think they were going to go undefeated, but I said, if anybody was going to beat them, it was going to be the Breakers, and I mean it happened. So I'm not surprised that it happened, but I mean low key I was rooting for them to keep their undefeated run going, but it was only a matter of time before it happened. So it happened. Hey, here we are.
Yeah. Great game.
Absolutely fantastic game. And we had another good game on our hands in our game 2. Here we recap Philadelphia and Cascadia. And this one was a battle of the bigs. You see Tyree Wells there getting a dunk on one end. And here's Monty Parson going right back at him with one of his own. And like I said, a battle of the bigs all game long. Seen here battle on the boards. Wells gets the rebound and puts it back up. And then Monty Parson here going at Tyree Wells once again. Spin move that time, but it doesn't matter. Cascadia and Tyree Wells and company come out on top in that one, 70-61.
Another really good game, another really good showing from some of the top players here in SimWorld Prep, B-Ron. We got to see Monte Parsons seemingly unleash 20 points. As you already mentioned, didn't really do so great on the glass. We saw Nas Hall, second leading scorer for Philadelphia, 17, but they just could not manufacture enough points. Philadelphia, who's been one of the top defending teams in all of SimWorld Prep this year, they turned Cascadia over 7 times. That's what they do. They turn them over, but Cascadia, so good this season as they continue their undefeated streak. They've been so good at manufacturing points from so many different people. Kevon Jackson, 14-4-4. Tyshawn McGrady, in case y'all forgot about this guy. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all remember that Roy Jones song? Oh, my God. Yeah. Anyhow, Tyshawn McGrady, 15 points. In case you guys forgot about him, he's about that bucket. And then Tyree Wells, think it maybe having his staple, his signature game of the season, kind of the coming out, the hey, remember me. Jason Hallberg got to fall back.
Justin Halliday also only had 2 points in 16 minutes.
Daniel Irvin only needing 4 points. But Tyree Wells, the ultimate driving machine, and that's what he did. He drove the ball to the basket.
He sure did.
Cascadia's 5-0.
Whew, man, this is crazy. The West Coast teams are interesting this season, but Cascadia has been one of the more interesting stories so far of the season, as they're one of the only undefeated teams left in SimWorld Prep at 5-0 now. But look, Yels, we got one more game here to go through, and this was the best one of the night. The finale of our SimWorld TV coverage last night. Salty Select facing the Indy Stripes, and Dylan Harper, Olvin Carballo got it going, and here's Carballo coming around off a screen there, getting a 3-pointer. It's 6-0, but Dylan Harper was looking to respond here, and you'll see him catch the pass and shoot immediately for the 3. A hot start to the game for both of these kids, and get down to the last stages of the game. It's tied. Gabe Pope trying to give them the win, unable to do so. An air ball results in the Stripes getting possession of it back, and we'll see here trying to win the game. Harper from the corner, and he can't get it to go, which means
OT, baby.
Time on our hands.
OT.
And in that overtime period, Gabe Pope, a chance at redemption here, trying to give his team the win. And there's that mid-range jumper, free throw line jumper, puts them up by 4, and from there they were able to win the game 91-84, a high-scoring game. In every respect of the word. There was no defense really being played, in some respects anyway. You think that, but there was some there, but it was a lot of scoring on both sides regardless of the defense being played. Yeah,
that trap really beat both teams up. They were trapping full court, they were pressing, and Olvin Carballo, he exploited it. 14 for 24. Then he got some threes up, 10 shot attempts. I'll come back to that in a minute because I absolutely have some thoughts about it. 32 points, but down the clutch, this team showed resiliency. Gabe Pope, he was getting torched on defense. The defender, one of the league's top defenders, he got a first-hand, up-close and personal look at Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper went to work. Offensively, Gabe Pope struggled early in the game, but when it mattered, Gabe Pope, GP, are you with me? GP came down, he hit the clutch bucket in OT. There were other good contributions from Breck Backer. He got it done. Drake Johnson hit some big shots. Dexter Jackson. I would say this game was really the Olvin Carballo show going to the rack, and when it wasn't, it was the Southeast Select others that were hitting big contested shots, making them count. On the other side, Indy, Dylan Harper finally getting his chance to do everything that he needed to do. He played 28 minutes, 32 points. Get that man even more minutes. Put him in that Cooper Flag kind of mold of how much you cram the ball down his throat. But contributions from other people are needed. Leah Lark, did his best JJ Barea impersonation as far as I see
Yeah,
it.
he did.
He looked really, really
I
good.
like him.
Yeah. But ultimately, Southeast Select, they've been in these situations many times before. Have not won a
Hmm.
championship in SimWorld Prep yet, but they've been right there. The winningest coach in SimWorld Prep history to date, and Brad Lee, he had his team prepared on how to win this kind of a close game, B-Ron. But the Olvin
Yep.
Corbile, here's what I want to ask. Trey
Ask
Turner's
away.
that guy. We know Trey Turner was the kid with, he's gone. He's off to Tennessee. We're talking about
Right,
what he's doing
right.
in Tennessee, but we still are talking about what he did with Southeast Select. Still, because he was that good. And his 3-point prowess, that's what everybody, chicks dig the deep ball, right? So he can hit the three
Yeah.
ball. But here we are. Oven Carballo is averaging over 22 points a game. I had to get the exact stat. He just put up 32. Coach Brad Lee, who normally loves to spread the minutes around, allowed this kid to shoot 24 times and 10 threes.
Hmm.
Are we just in the nostalgia phase? Is it like the old head saying that there's no greater center ever than Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain? Is it that kind of thing where we're getting stuck on one player? Oven Carballo's balling. Alvin
He is.
Corballo. Maybe that's what we call him. B-Ron, you got any thoughts on that?
So look, I don't think it's a case of of old head syndrome. Where
Okay.
we're all kind of stuck in our ways. I don't think that's what it is. I think really, at least for me anyway, I what it is we recognize the greatness that is Trey Turner, and we're holding a lot of those players on Southeast or to that standard. We would like to because we know what Trey Turner did previously for them. That doesn't mean that there can't be another player to come in and do Trey Turner esque things. And after last night, I'm not ready to say Carballo is in that stratosphere yet of Trey Turner, but boy is he close, in my personal opinion. Boy is he close with his production and the way that he's burst onto the scene this season. It's tough to contain him, like we've seen, and it was tough to contain Trey Turner over the past two seasons here in SimWorld Prep. So if you look at it like that, yeah, he's definitely close to being in that Trey Turner esque limelight for me.
Enough said. Just wanted your opinion. Just
That's
wanted your
fair.
opinion.
That's
He's a
that's fair.
dog. He's a
Yeah,
dog. Let's keep it moving though,
really
man.
is. It really is. Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's go. So look, let's go back to the OGs real quick. Again, they lost to the Breakers last night, and is this a sign of things to come for them, or is this just a bump in the road? I feel like we may have touched on it earlier, but for me, I definitely do think that it's just a bump in the road. You're not the talent here in Stone Prep is too good to go undefeated. While I would have liked to have seen it happen, I will say it's good to get the loss out the way now, early in the season. If they only go on to lose, 3 games in the season, cool. But I think it's good for them to get the loss out the way now to a strong team like the Breakers, a competitive team like the Breakers, who we kind of expected them to be a strong competitive team this season, as we expect them to be, the last season in similar prep as well. So for me, bump in the road, they'll get right back to their winning ways in the next game. Just my thoughts on that. What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. If they're gonna lose, they lose now. It's not a huge deal. They, again, defensively, what they've been able to do, like the most consistent thing you can do is play defense. Shots come and go. People get injured. Ebbs and flows change, but defense
Hmm.
is the consistent rock that you can stand on to measure
Yeah.
your team. And they've done that so far this season. Didn't look so great last night. Did not look so great in that pick and roll. Trey Hyman tore him to shreds. But I
Yeah.
would almost say Bay Area almost played a perfect game, and that's what it required to beat
I was
the
just
OG.
gonna say that.
Yeah,
That's what it takes to beat the OGs. You have to be perfect on your game. None of the other 4 teams were previously. Breakers just happened to play that kind of game last night, and that's the result. More
yeah,
times than not, that's gonna be the result of a game like that. You can play as perfect as you want to and still lose sometimes, but last night, totally different thing.
yeah.
And let's give credit where it's due to the Breakers or to the OGs. It's not like they were down at one point, pretty large, had a pretty large deficit at one point. And sure, it took Cooper Play to get back in the game, but they got back in the game. So, they easily could have been down, 50-38 and said, oh, we're down, 19, 20 points, whatever it is, and we can pack it up now. But they didn't. So I think you have to, for me, give that credit where it's due to the OGs for coming back and fighting back into that game.
No, for sure. I mean, they get that credit. I'm gonna give my hat's gonna be tipped to Bay Area because they came out and they
Mm-hmm.
balled. And I like it when somebody has a chip on their shoulder and they get it done. For
Agreed,
me, I
100%,
will
yeah.
say the only concern I have, 20, almost 28 points a game from Cooper Flag through five. Nobody else in double digits. Jay Laster's 9 points a game. Justin McGavin just 4.4 points a game. And it's not because
Mm-hmm.
he's not playing well. He's shooting 46% from the field, 400 from deep. You got to figure out who else this ball's going to go through. And I know which three it should go through based on what the
No
scouts
free
know.
game Friday.
Yeah, so they've got to be able to get other people involved. But hey, that's another story. As of
100%.
right now, they're 4-1, and they
We're in
lost to
agreement
one of the
on
better
that, though.
teams. So sometimes it happens.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. What can you do, right? But look, we have a guest joining us this morning. After all this hubbub and talk about, other coaches around the league, other games around the league, we got a guest joining us today, and that's Coach Kusa of SimWorld Atlantis. Coach Kusa, good morning. How are you doing?
Good afternoon from me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good afternoon, Coach. Look, it's good to have you here. What time is it over there where you are, by the way?
It's 20 to 5 at the moment in the afternoon, so a bit different to what you guys have.
Yes, absolutely. A big, big difference for sure.
So
Again,
we appreciate you staying awake in the middle of the day for us,
yeah,
Coach K.
yeah. Yeah, because you gotta get your mid afternoon nap in before your game in a few hours playing against who you playing against today? Hang on a minute.
H-Town.
Thank you. Yeah, H Town. I was so blank on the team name H Town today. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. But I got some questions here for you. You also have some as well. But my first question is, how are you enjoying coaching SimWorld Atlantis this season, and how is it different from Beyond the Arch, where you spent your first 2 seasons of your SimWorld Prep career?
Yeah, so the season has started really well, and it's been really enjoyable. I'd say the first 2 years with BTA, this was a personal struggle for me, but to find the right scheme and right rotations and everything, get the team working, that took me time, and that has worked much, much quicker this season so far, at least. And yeah, it's been very interesting coming in, having a completely new team again, having to recruit in a very different environment than what St. Louis was. And yeah,
Okay.
You got some guys on
Yep.
that team. You got some absolute guys on that team, Kusa, that do not get the appreciation they should internationally, in my opinion. Keontae Smith, for example, 15, almost 16 points a game. He's averaging a double-double, almost 11 boards, 3 blocks. Does he talk to you at all about wanting to be considered one of the best bigs in the world out there? What are the conversations you guys have about his standing?
absolutely. Deontay wants to be one of the best, wants to be seen as one of the best, and it was evident to me from the moment I came in, and he wanted to stay. There was never any doubt that he he leaving because he doesn't get the spotlight that he deserves at Atlantis. But yeah, it's a constant process for us to develop all of our players, of course. But with Keontae, he knows that I worked with Tyson Simpson last season. We made huge strides with him as well, and yeah, he wants to be the best.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So I'm gonna move my questions around here because this is actually relevant to the current conversation. So you had the pleasure of coaching Tyson Simpson last season for Beyond the Arch. How has coaching Keontae Smythe been different or similar to Tyson?
Well, it starts from their playing styles. They are a bit similar, but there's still enough difference so you can't just take everything that you did with Tyson and make it work with Keontae. I'd say Tyson was a bit more post oriented. He had a little bit more skill, of
Mhm.
course, a bit bigger as well. Whereas Keontae has the instincts of a player that I haven't seen, especially on the boards. He's much better rebounder in my opinion than what Tyson. Tyson was a great rebounder. Don't get me wrong,
Yep, watch
but
it.
I think Keontae is another level up from there in that department. And yeah, so play style is a bit different. So we need to take some things and tinker them around a bit. But it does give a good base to me and the coaching staff that I have the experience of having a player at least a bit similar.
Okay. All right. Yarny, you help me out here. Make sure I get this right. Yarny Janssen, Kenneth Klum.
Jan Jonsson.
So I nailed it, pretty much.
Bjarni
Yeah,
Jonsson.
Yarny Janssen. All right.
Jonsson.
This
Yeah.
kid's getting 15 points a game in 14 minutes. Very fluid kid. I know you got a lot of people you got to get the ball to. Kenneth Klum out there looking very good so far this season as well. Nathaniel Zilberman, good Lord, he's got a rifle on him.
Yeah, he does.
These kids, did you expect for them to get acclimated and play in your system as quickly, as well as they are, as quickly as they have? And did you honestly, man, we're real talking these mornings, did you expect to start the season 3-1 as you have?
No, I'll be completely honest there. As I said before, it's been the last 2 years. It's taken me some time, and we had really long stretches from the start of the season. I think last season we lost the first two games by an average of 15 points or something like that. So that's something that I had to work on myself as a coach, trying to be more ready straight out the gate with the schemes and everything. And players have just bought in beautifully. They are all great kids, and yeah, everything is working now. Of course, we still experiment with different things and trying to see if we can be even better. And there's still things to work on. But so far, it's been really good, and I'm very encouraged by the results we are seeing on the court.
That's good. That is wonderful, wonderful. So I have one more question for you here before we wrap up things. When we were learning about the owners and stuff for the team over the off season, Catherine Cavendish is now the owner for SimWorld Atlantis. And I know personally that you have a prior relationship with Miss Cavendish. But for those who don't know, what is your relationship with the owner of Catherine Cavendish? And how has that impacted your adjustment to SimWorld Atlantis? Returning to kind of where you went to school at in the area, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the team, of course, is based in London, but both me and Catherine went to university in Worcester, uh, University of Worcester. So we had a connection through that. We had met at alumni event before, so we had a touching pad to go on. I've met her father as well. Um, very good people, both of them. And Catherine's is just she's so passionate about basketball, so passionate about giving these kids the opportunity to play, to develop, not only as basketball players, but as people. That's what I try to do as a coach as well. We try to, in the end, at this level, not every player is gonna be an NBA star. That's just the reality. So what we try to do is, of course, try to make as many players to be good players on the court as
Right.
possible. But we try to help them to give them the keys to a more successful life outside of basketball as well. And I think that's where Catherine and I work together really well.
Coach K, pleasure having you here. One last question for you, and I think you segued into it beautifully. My question here is The international squads don't get a whole lot of limelight all the time. You're right here. You got a spotlight with us here on SimWorld today. You may have a leg up. This is your chance to talk to all of the stateside players, and maybe you're not even bothered with them because you guys are balling over there right now. But if you want to talk to any young kid that is stateside or in South America or anywhere outside of your general region, you want them to know that basketball lives and thrives in the Atlantis area and in your region. What do you tell them? This is your spotlight to throw your general recruiting call out to kids that may be interested in coming to play for SimWorld Atlantis.
All I need to do is show the standings. We are doing well on the court. You you can get Keontae is a great example of this. Coming from the States, he's getting more opportunities because let's be real, in England as we are, basketball is not that big of a sport. We've got players coming from Iceland, Faroe Islands. We've got a few of the Israeli boys this year. So we need to get players from a larger area, but we don't have as much choice in our local talent. That means that if you come from the States, it's easier for you to get a spotlight to show really what you're made of, to come and develop, and sometimes getting out of that big spotlight of the States can actually be good. You can just work hard here, develop your craft, get new experiences. I mean that's why I left my home country of Finland in the first place to come to England, just to get new experiences. And that's life experiences that nobody's ever gonna take away from you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I love
that. Come to Atlantis.
You're getting your Suge Knight on. I see what you did there.
Hey, love that. Love that. Well, thank you very much, Coach Kuta, for joining us this morning. We really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone in SimWorld.
Best of luck later in your game,
you.
even against H-Town, Coach K. See you in a few.
Thank you.
All
right. Well, look, that was a wonderful way to end the show. A little long, but producing it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
For sure.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us today on SimWorld today. We appreciate you all. It's Friday, yo, so it's time for you to do the outro. Take it away, my friend.
Oh, man. All right. Soapbox time. No. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notify button. Be active. This is a world of engagement. We're not looking for the lurkers. We're looking for the talkers. If you break the fourth wall for a second. We've asked everybody kind of tone down the talk a little bit in the rhetoric. We don't want you to be quiet and silent. We just don't want it to be crazy. We don't want it to be disrespectful. Get back out there. We need to hear your voices.
Yeah,
SimWorld.
We don't mind talking. Just there is a line.
There's a line.
You know what it is. Don't cross the line. That's all we're saying.
Mutual level of respect. But in all of that, it's been a pleasure for another week running this with you, B-Ron.
Sure.
SimWorld today, SimWorld Sports, SimWorld Hoops, SimWorld Prep is the only place where you can see the game and be the game. See you Monday.
See you Monday.
This has been a presentation